So today we're going through setting up and configuring a BGO7 micro gateway on a NEMA 2000 network to read load data from smart fittings straight onto yacht instruments. This is the BGO7. We have a connector to go into the NEMA 2000 backbone or off a drop cable. On this side, we have a connection for an antenna. Today, we're going to be using the standard whip antenna, but this can also be connected to an external antenna for example, carbon boats. And here we have an indication LED and a button to configure it. So the first thing we're going to do is connect the antenna to the gateway, and this allows it to receive Bluetooth data coming from the sensors. With that installed, then we can plug the gateway into the NEMA 2000 backbone. This is keyed, so we rotate it until it fits in, and then screw it in. Here, we're connecting the gateway directly to the backbone, but in some cases, we may connect the gateway through a drop cable, which comes off the backbone and allows the gateway to be placed elsewhere in the yacht. The backbone here has power provided by the yellow cable, which is a standard installation, and we can see that by the Garmin display being turned on. The gateway indicates it has power by a slow red flashing light. This tells us it's on mode and is available on the network, but cannot be configured like this. To configure a sensor on the gateway, first we have to put it into configuration mode. This involves pressing the small button here for around 2 seconds, and we let go and we see the green light. This indicates to us that it's now in configuration mode and can be connected to. The first step of connection and setting up sensors on the gateway is to have the sensor configured in the Smart Fittings Manager app. Here we have a smart button size 2 configured on the app, and if I squeeze it, we can see the load coming up. What we're going to do now is take our sensors that we have configured in our Smart Fittings Manager app and copy these across to the gateway without having to use the QR code or re-add the sensors in any way. So in the app, we have a sensor reading here, and if we go into settings, find on Cyclops gateways, immediately the BGO7 comes up. We press on it to connect, and then we see that in between the green flashes, the red LED indication is also on. This tells us we are now connected to the gateway and can configure it. In my app, I have one single sensor configured, and I can use the copy button to take it from the list of sensors I have in the Smart Fittings app and copy this to the gateway. We can now go into this sensor and select how we want to output to our instruments. In this example, we have a Garmin display here, and we're going to use Garmin Custom Channel 12. So I'll select that from the drop-down, and we would like this to read in kilograms. We can then go back and send these settings to the gateway. That has now configured the gateway, and disconnecting from it will then let us go back into normal on mode, and in a second or two, we will see data coming up from the sensor. If I now squeeze the sensor, we can see load appearing on our instruments. When connected to a gateway, we can also see the NEMA 2000 configuration for it. Obviously, we would like to output the data, so the switch is on, and we can see the default station here is 17. What that is the device ID on the NEMA 2000 network, and will be automatically negotiated by the gateway on the bus if that has to change. Also here, we have the interval, which is the rate at which the data is sent to the network. This is configurable and defaults to 100 milliseconds, which is 10 Hertz. This can also be reduced to, say, 400 milliseconds or 2.5 Hertz. To send this settings to the gateway, we press the Send to Gateway button. For configuring this for B&G, NKE or Raymarine devices, we go into the sensor, in the settings within the gateway, and then go on NEMA 2000 load station. This gives us a list of names that will be used when we select that sensor in the instrument package you're using. For example, here we may go to a mast base. Again, we go back out of there and send this setting to the gateway. With the configuration sent to the gateway, we then press and hold the button for 2 seconds, and this resets the gateway into on mode, and the data is now being transmitted onto the bus again. The other indication of Bluetooth being received from the sensor to the gateway is a green flashing light on each advert received. Therefore, we can tell when the sensor is outputting and the gateway is receiving data. If we're not getting this green flash, this is either because the sensor is not powered on or the gateway isn't correctly configured for that sensor.